picked on more than anyone else. They're having a beef. And she was in tears, she was sobbing. And so I was just trying to let them talk it through. Here's the problem. What do you think the problem is? What do you think it is? This is the problem. What do you think we should do? What do you think? And if you have some of that bullying thing go on, you ask the child who's less assertive first, what do you think the solution is? What do you think we should do? What do you think the problem is? And she had actually been hurt, so I told him that he needed to do something to help her, but that she could pick what it was and they could work it through. And she said, he could sing me a song. She even picked like some song, like real girly song. And I thought, I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say anything. Yeah, fat chance like that's going to happen. And the sweetest, his body language shifted. In the sweetest voice, he sang her the song she requested. And then she asked him for a hug. I'm thinking, if he had just hit me, the last thing I would ever want is for him. He hugged her in a very kind and gentle way, and they ran off. So don't assume that just because you're an adult that you have the solution. It doesn't have to make sense to you. It needs to make sense and make them feel better from their perspective. Like, I don't make children apologize, because I don't know if you're sorry or not. So I never say to you, tell her you're sorry. I don't know how you feel. I don't want to teach you to lie. Right? Because if you say you're sorry and you're not, and I made you, I'm just... So I would rather you say, you know, you don't want to hear sorry, so tell her something. What do you want her to do? It's not what you say at this point. It's what you do. It's your behavior, not your words. I need to trust your behavior. It's easy to say something. It's harder to do something. So we do have the steps of conflict resolution. Here we go, page 19 again.
This is
it should be the very last thing.
Yes, it's
Gordon's no-lose problem-solving process. And again, I'm not going to read all that text, but the step one is to identify the problem. If it's a group, let everyone say what they think the problem is. Because here's one thing, often if there's 5 of you, when I go around, you actually don't even have the same problem. So make sure everybody gets their turn to state the problem. Then everybody in the group gets to generate alternatives, and then you have this good, I'm not doing this part. It's fine with me. If you're not part of this process and the solution, you won't be here. So, you know, we all wanted, I don't know, whatever it is we wanted. If you don't help us stay here and work this out, you're going to need to move on. So if you're not part of the solution, you're still part of the problem. Just stay over here unless you're going to help us solve this. So it's okay to walk away, but the problem won't go away. Then 3, this is the interesting part, you evaluate the possible solutions. and they're children, so sometimes they say things that are really not going to happen, that you have to say, I'm going to help on the evaluation of this. So I've had small children say, I want you to sit in that chair until your mother comes. Going, it's 8. His mom will be here 5:30. Okay, that's off the table. Mm-hmm. So as you're evaluating the solutions, you have to impose some guidelines on possible solutions to keep everybody safe. And then the group makes a decision together. Now, the problem is, even in the textbook I teach, this is always linear because it's easier, but this is really a circle. So they identify the problem, they come up with a solution, you evaluate them, you decide on something, then you have to check back in because then there might be another problem. So this is a constant thing that you're sort of checking back on. Just because it got solved right here for now doesn't mean it's not going to come up again. And maybe if it's one of those rule things, we add it to the chart. If it comes up again, we just go to the chart. Otherwise, we have to re-examine the conflict, the players, the solutions. Again, it's one of those things for buy-in. The more you trust children to be part of the process, the more they can surprise you by making appropriate choices. And it could be the child who didn't make the best choices the rest of the day, but they always get that opportunity with me to voice their suggestions, their alternatives, and to be part of the process. If you blow it, you might have to be out for now, but tomorrow I'm going to bring you, or next week, I'm going to ask you again. I'm not going to hold grudges. Every time I'm with them, we start fresh. We have a clean slate. I don't want anyone to bring in their problems for the next week. I also don't send the problems home or back to the classroom teacher if I'm doing a project. If it's our issue, we deal with it here. I'm not going to tell your mothers you get punished at home tonight. I'm not going to tell the 4th grade teacher so you lose recess tomorrow. It's here, we deal with it, and then it's over, and it's finished. Again, it's not about shaming people or punishing them. It's about trying to teach them how to behave appropriately in groups. I mean, this is about socialization. This is about learning to live and work in groups. And you're not born with any of those skills. You have to be taught. And you have to tell children it over. And teachers say, but I already told them that. Right. And you're going to have to tell them it another day, and you're going to have to remind them, and you're going to have to write it down, and that's how children learn these things. It has to be really consistent.
So I have a question. Back to the toy that this kid had. What's that little, the little suction toy.
Yeah.
So this...
And one of the rules for you guys, if you're cooking, is that, once you've washed your hands, you wash your hands, and you only touch the food and the cooking tools.
Yeah, that's good.
Right,
But,
so that's why we don't have the toys, because it hasn't been sanitized.
Well, what happened was that this toy was sitting on the counter, and another child came and grabbed it and said it was his. And so then there was this argument. It's mine. No, it's really mine because I did this and I told you, I told you that it was really mine. But anyway, they got into this argument.
And then I say, I didn't see what happened. I was trying to help people over here cutting.
Right.
Right.
And so what I did was I said, well, so-and-so came in with it, so please give it back to him.
As far as you know,
it
originated there.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? It's inappropriate to have out right now. This is not working. It's causing conflict. It was distracting people, and that's causing a fight between the two of you. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to give it to X because he walked in with it. If it's really not his, then you need to talk to your classroom teacher, whoever's with you earlier in the day. As far as I know, he walked in with it, and I don't have any other information. I mean, we discourage strongly them from bringing anything to school. Except we allow books, but it depends on your setting. If I was doing food activities, I wouldn't allow them to bring anything in there because everything it's going to be really dirty.
Right.
I mean, that could have been on the bathroom floor 2 hours ago. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Good point.
Hey, I work with preschoolers. Hygiene is a huge issue for us. So anyone who hasn't spoken up, what's a problem we've had in the past couple of weeks that you want some advice and input? And I'm not going to solve it for you, but I'll help you talk about some potential solutions.
I have a question about the last thing you were talking about. When we brought the kids back to Coach K, he specifically asked us how their behavior had been, and he's implementing something whereby they get some kind of incentive if they've behaved well. Mm-hmm. And so he's specifically asking.
Mm-hmm. Do you have to buy into that system? I don't know the rules.
Well, I don't know. It was just the first time that he had done that.
So I mean, I would try to have a conversation with that adult that I don't want to be part of that. I mean, so in general, if I got surprised like that, I'd probably say, they're kids, things happen, we get it all worked out, we're good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't leave that because if you don't know that adult and trust that adult, you give them information, and then they get punished, they're going to come back the next week really resentful of you.
Well, I went the other way and told them that the kids were fine, and so they got their reward.
There's that too.
And they were,
Right.
Oh, they were really. I mean, they were fine.
If you think that's what's going to build your relationship with them, I might go for that too. I mean, I don't like those strategies and systems, but most public schools use them. Mm-hmm. And it's very behavioristic and not what I would do. But if you think that's most beneficial for your group, then yeah. Again, this has to be genuine and authentic for you. If that is what you felt was best for the kids at the moment, then I'll go with that.
It's actually a really sad system that they have.
Yeah.
Like, if you're good, they get, both groups have to both be good separately. And then they
Is anyone ever clear about what it means to be good? Do they know what the expectations are?
And then,
that's one of the problems with those systems.
But if they are good, then they get a chance to try to do something, and if they do something which is not related to being good or bad, then they get a reward. So it's like they get a chance to get a reward.
Like intermittent reinforcement.
So, but it's like a physical
Still
challenge, and it's
well,
sad.
physical program.
They're like they had to make like 6 out of 10 goals or something, and then they
mhm.
got